where is the line between gossiping and people enjoying their workplace?
Once you start with the nonsense, I'll tell you politely, oh, I'm sorry, I have a meeting. All right, welcome back to another episode of Brand Bank. We are in our Toxic Workplaces series. And today we're going to be talking about gossip, cliques, and exclusions. So if information feels like a currency in your office, you may be in a toxic culture. So, Elle, have you ever experienced any type of toxic workplace culture, gossiping, cliques, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if you worked in an office, you've probably experienced that. And there have been times that I've left jobs because it impacted me so much, especially with like when it's happening and you're in one of those open workspace environments, like you can't escape it. And it's just so distracting that it's kind of all consuming. It's not a good feeling.
And the thing is too, why gossip in itself just feels so powerful is because it creates this social bonding mechanism, right? So you are around people that you see them every day. And even though gossiping is bad, but you're talking to them, they're talking to you, you feel included. And so it feels like you have some sense of power with that. And then power through information control as well, because, it's like, oh, I know something that you don't. And so you feel so powerful, like you're gossiping about somebody, everybody knows except them. So again, another reason. And then also insecurity driven behavior, those people who they're insecure in their own self, but because they are gossiping and they feel a part of this clique, it's like, wow, I don't feel so much insecurity in my own self because now I feel like a part of something. I feel welcomed. I feel like a part of a group. And so it is damaging. It is dangerous, but I can see where it can feel powerful to some people. Like they have something tangible to hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about, earlier you mentioned about that you quit jobs because of gossiping and stuff. And that also comes back to finances, right? Because this is where I thrive. It's like employers don't realize how much money they lose from just gossiping and from higher performing employees leaving, So for example, if you have like 5 employees earning, I don't know, like $65 an hour, right? Mm-hmm. And they lose like 3 hours per week just on gossiping and politics and all of that stuff. That's like $50,000 a year in wasted time. Think about that. That's $50,000 a year you're spending unnecessarily. I mean, as a business owner, what could you do with $50,000, right?
Yeah, that's the way.
What could you do with $50,000? But instead, it's being wasted paying employees to stand around at the water cooler and gossip.
Yeah.
So nobody budgets for that kind of stuff. You don't budget for gossiping, but this is the real value of workplace toxicity.
That's really tough because you want your employees to enjoy coming to work. You want them to make friendships, and because people that have friendships in the workplace tend to stay longer and be more satisfied. But where is the line between gossiping and people enjoying their workplace?
Well, I guess that's what your lunch break is for. I sound like a horrible boss, right? You ever watch that movie, Horrible Bosses? Yeah, but that's not me. But I mean, in all honesty, that's what your lunch break is for. Your lunch break is to break from work and go gossip and talk and do whatever you do, not on company clock, because then that's money wasting. That's money going out the door that nobody budgets for. Right?
And, it's another argument for remote work because no one's at the water cooler wasting your time.
Exactly. Because, you spend more time sitting at your desk because who else are you going to talk to? The 4 walls?
Yes. And you have to, because you're logging your time usually if you're working remote.
Exactly. So let's kind of talk about how it damages teams, right? People that work in a team, how gossiping and cliques and all that stuff damages teams. So one main thing I can think of is how gossiping kind of like distrust loops, right? Distrust loops. It's like you're constantly going around a circle, you're spreading it. It just keeps going around a circle.
Right.
It just keeps looping and it just never stops. It's like, oh my gosh, make this stop.
Yeah.
people, and I can see people getting mental burnout from the constant negativity that comes with gossiping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like when I'm involved in gossiping, like I feel kind of sick or I feel bad about myself.
Dirty. I know, right?
Dirty, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh, why did I say that? Or why did I just sit there and not do anything? But it's hard to speak up if someone's gossiping, right? Because then they're going to be gossiping about you and you don't want that either.
Yeah. And sometimes I hear things and I'm like, why do I know this? Like, I shouldn't know this. This is not information that I should know. But here comes somebody telling me this. It's like, I don't want to know this stuff. There's just some things that I just don't want to know. So even if you know it from gossiping, just don't tell me. Because I don't want to know. Another thing too is defensive communication. Right? Because I feel like if somebody is constantly gossiping, it's going to cause me to be defensive at some point. Like I just talked about, I'm just going to be like, enough. I don't want to hear this. And then now that damages our relationship because every time I talk to you, you're coming with something negative. You're coming with some type of gossip about somebody else. Then that's going to make me want to pull away from you, which essentially is going to damage our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And also if someone is gossiping with you, they're gossiping about you too. So it's hard to trust people like that.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's talk about the emotional drain of it all. You're just like an energy vampire. That's what it is. It's just sucking the life out of you.
It really
Nobody
is.
wants that.
So when I worked in an office in situations like that, I would be so exhausted at the end of the day, not because of the work, but because of the gossiping and dealing with all of that. But when I work remotely, that exhaustion does not happen because the gossip and the drama is not there.
Yeah. That's down to a minimum.
Yeah.
You have somebody to talk to. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, what else are we going to talk about with gossiping now? What else do we have to add to that?
Yeah. So I can say what it does to marketing teams. If we have a team and we have a couple people on the side gossiping all of the time, then it really impacts collaboration. I've seen it happen where, we worked in an office together and we would have group meetings that meant to be, brain dumps and brainstorming sessions. And when you have gossipers in the group, people don't feel safe sharing ideas because then you feel like, oh, they're going to be rolling their eyes or they're going to be like texting about you while you're talking. So really instead of gossiping, if you feel like gossiping, change it into saying something positive, right? And then the entire team will reform into just this collaborative, supportive engine, and you will produce amazing campaigns. And I promise you that the most successful marketing campaigns came from a team that was empowered and empowered each other. I promise you. In order to take risks, you have to feel comfortable and confident, and you have to rely on your team to get it out into the world successfully.
Yeah, I totally agree. You started your business for freedom, but somewhere between the invoices, the payroll, the tax deadlines, and the constant, hey, you got a minute? You stopped being the priority. This isn't burnout, it's neglect. It's time for something different, not another system or motivational quote. It's a mindset shift. Because when you are protected, your business grows, your team thrives, your revenue expands, and your vision becomes real. That's where Craib Accounting steps in. We give entrepreneurs permission to put themselves first by taking the things that drain you off your plate for good. Monthly bookkeeping you can trust, cash flow forecasting that gives you clarity, tax strategies that save you real money, and systems that actually work without you babysitting them. Craib isn't just doing your accounting. We are rebuilding your mental bandwidth, we are giving you time back, and we are protecting the peace while positioning your business to scale. Put yourself first. We'll handle the rest. Totally agree. And I can end with this segment from a financial standpoint, that when gossiping and cliques kind of like take over a workplace, what I see isn't tension, I see a financial leakage, right? So the first thing to do is rework from miscommunication. So when you have teams that don't share information openly, like you just said, projects get duplicated and instructions are misunderstood, then guess what happens? Deliverables have to be redone because now all the miscommunication happens. Somebody have to sit and do it all over again. And then let's not forget about the time spent on managing the drama, because if you have a department head and they're constantly mediating conflict and constantly have to like separate people, think of the money that you're spending on that person to do conflict resolution. That isn't a part of the job description. It isn't a part of what you paid them to do. You can look at $15,000 to $20,000 annually, redirecting from growth just to take care of all of this drama that's going on in your office. And then the last thing I would also touch on is absenteeism. So, when you have toxic social environments, it increases stress-related sick days. How many times have we called out from work sick? Not because you're genuinely sick, but because you're just like, oh, I cannot today. Like, I legit cannot deal with these people today. Yeah. So, sick days cost company money. And a lot of time people don't look at everything from a financial standpoint. And yes, everything is not just financial. There's also the administrative part of things, the emotional side of things, the HR, the administrative side of things. But then everything equates to a dollar amount. It all comes down to a dollar amount. And so when you start to calculate how much you're losing in your business every month from these types of things, then the numbers will start to hit home some more. So that's my takeaway from that.
So,
that's my supporting words.
So if you're someone who there's people gossiping around you, how would you fix it?
As an employee or as a owner business?
I guess either one, right? If you're an employee, what can you do? And then if you're a business owner, what can you do to help your employees?
Yeah. So the thing is too, it's kind of tricky for employees, I think, because like we mentioned earlier, you want to feel a part of something. You want to feel like you belong. And so what will happen is you will try to engage in the gossiping because you want to feel like, okay, I'm not the outcast. I feel like a part of a group. But I feel like what you can do about that is try to redirect the conversation. Somebody comes to you and they start talking about somebody else in a negative light, maybe just redirect the conversation into something different. I'm kind of notorious for telling people, and here am I giving away my secret now, giving away my sob, because everybody that watches our podcast that knows me is going to know that that's what I've been doing. Seriously. Everybody knows me. Once you start with the nonsense, I'll tell you politely, oh, I'm sorry, I have a meeting. Not that I really do have a meeting, but that's my thing to say to get out of it. But yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta run. I have a meeting. So I redirect conversations all the time because I don't want to get caught up in the gossiping. It drains my energy. It puts me in a bad headspace to take on my day. So I don't want that. So I feel as an employee, the biggest thing you could possibly do is redirect the conversation, or sometimes you just say, hey, I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as a manager, owner, business person, what I would say is if you come across that sort of stuff in your organization, because, leadership starts at the top and trickles down. Right. So what you could do is when you see and when you hear things like that, shut it down immediately. Shut it down, which is why I always applaud companies that have weekly group huddles. Or, once a week, they have these huddles, they check in, they talk what's going on in the company, they talk about stuff. I feel like that kind of will help reduce gossiping because everybody feels like they're a part of something, and information is not just segregated to one set of people, but everybody is in those weekly huddles, so they know what's going on. So I feel like as a manager, once you see and hear things, you immediately shut that down and have a no-nonsense policy on that, because leadership starts at the top. And what you allow in your company becomes the culture you live with. So you have to change that.
Absolutely. Good episode. Good tips too. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit like, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear about your experience with workplace gossip and what it did to you. But we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.